Hey everyone, I'm gonna do a quick video on how to add text onto a print. I don't have a print to do, so we're just gonna do something very quick. So we'll add a primitive, which is this. We'll just do like a little rectangle, size it down a little. We'll do like, that was weird. Okay. Do like 35, no, 50 by 25, something like that. Okay. So we have this little rectangle, and now I had a question, and I've seen some of these pop up too about adding text to print. So just pretend this is your actual model, okay, that you want to add text to. So it doesn't matter what the model is, this can be your model in place, okay? So you're gonna come up here, text, shape, or hit the letter T in Bamboo Studio, and your text, actually let's start from the beginning. Didn't explain that well. So click on your model first, right, and then click text shape. That way it will assign the text to that model. Okay, once we are there, the text is sitting on top of the model, so you can add whatever you want. Let's just bamboo. Okay, so now the next step is going to be pick a font that has a little bit of body in it, if you will, right? So something that, it doesn't have to be super thick, but you want something that's thick enough for your nozzle, right? You don't want to pick something that has super fine lines, just because you're printing in a 0.4 nozzle most likely. If you do pick something that's a little bit finer, go ahead and click on this bold right here next to size. And then you can change the size right here of the text. You can either type in a size like that. Like that might get a little, quality might get bad because it's a little small. So I'd go a little bit bigger. Go like 8 maybe is probably good. But do something like that if you'd like. And then you can really dial in the boldness from here under advanced if you want. Completely up to you. Skew, I think, turns it. Oh yeah, puts like it italicized, right? So you can do that if you'd like, whatever you want. Thickness is going to be from top to bottom, so you can make it as tall as you want. Oh, don't need it that tall. 2 is probably good, 2 or 3. And then what you need to do, because right now all it's doing is sitting on top of the model, and this isn't going to, it'll print, but it's not going to print very well, because it's just going to print on that top layer. So you want to go to this embedded depth on the right here, and I would go down at least 0.5, but maybe as low as 1, so that way it sinks in at least a millimeter into your print, if that makes sense. Maybe you don't have to go as tall as 3. Pick whatever height looks good for you guys. I don't care. I like to do, when I do text, I try to do it flush, or I try to do small text. I don't really like having it as that big, if I'm being honest. So 1 is fine. This embedded depth does not factor in the thickness. So the thickness is literally from the top of the model to the top of the text. The embedded depth starts from the model into the model. So it doesn't factor any of this in. These are 2 separate measurements, okay? And then text gap is going to be the space in between the letters. So you can space them out really far if you'd like. Completely up to you. You can have them really close if you wanted. Whatever you'd like to do. You can change the numbers manually right here. The angle will turn the word or name, whatever you decide to put there. And then surround surface. So if, I know we've gone over this before. So just like that, it's going to surround the surface of whatever you're printing on. It'll wrap it around that surface, okay? I don't know what this is. Surround projection by character. I haven't messed with that one yet. Looks like it doesn't embed, I guess. so not as efficient. Surround horizontal, I don't know if that's if you have like cuts in the model or something like that, it'll just kind of go over it, I assume. I don't do a lot of text. I know how to do text, but I don't do a lot of it, so I couldn't fully tell you those last two. I know surround. Part, so that's part. If you wanted to do flush text, you do modifier right there, and modifier will make the text flush. So when you make it a different color, so on the left here under objects, make your text a different color. So in this case, do red. When you slice it, text is within the model, but it's going to sit flush with the model. But it sits several layers underneath as well. So you should get a good depth of color within your model as well, okay? And then if you want to edit, just double click the text and then go back to part. And then if we slice on that, we can see the embedded depth. It starts there, right? So you get several layers of it inside, and now it's going to print by itself. Okay? And then cut is if you wanted to make a cut of the text. So if you wanted to fill it with something, let's say you, some of you guys might do like epoxy or resin, stuff like that. You could totally do that and then fill this up with epoxy or resin, like colored epoxy or a colored resin or glitter resin or whatever. I don't know, something like that. You could absolutely do that. That would work too. But those are just a couple of different things. You could also do this and then print the letters separately in a slightly smaller size and then pop them in there. But then you'd have to print the letters at 2 millimeters tall if you wanted them to sit at that millimeter higher height, if that makes sense. I always say it's going to be a quick video and then it never is, so I do apologize. I really tried. Those are the text options though. So the most common one for a top text will most likely be part though. That's the most common from what I've seen. So you can embed this as much as you like though. So if you wanted to embed it further, you could do 2 millimeters if you just want to make sure that it's really in there. Now, the more you embed the text, the more print time you're going to add, obviously, just because you're going to have more color changes further down, right? So take that into consideration. That's all. I hope this helps some of you guys out with the text and adding text to your prints. But this is the easiest way to do it, and that's how you make sure that you don't have anything popping off towards the top or letters not adhering to the print once it starts to do your letters, right? Because then it's not just trying to print plastic on top of plastic and hoping that it, melts together. That way it's already kind of adhered within the model itself, okay? Let me know if you guys have any questions. Happy to help. Hopefully this helped to explain how to add text in a couple different ways for you guys. All right, thank you.